All right, stock champions, how are you out there? And welcome to this week's Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com, and today is May 3rd, 2024. All right, so Stock Analysis Friday is all about you. It's all about you telling me, hey, Ben, look up a couple stocks for me. Tell me what's going on. I'm trying to figure out if I should be buying it, if I should be out of it, and so forth. So that's what we're going to do today. And we have a lot of fun here. We're usually here for about a good solid hour, sometimes a little longer. And the idea is I try to get to everybody's stock pick they want me to look up. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is put in about 3 stocks per entry. And I see, Al, you're hitting the sled running here. All right. He's already got his 3 in there, which is super. So I'll get to those in just a moment. All right, so let me just jump in and go through some of the administrational items first here. So one of the things I'm going to do here, of course, is like in every presentation, just cover some of the risks involved in trading or even investing in the financial markets, because you need to know this. There's nothing guaranteed when we go into the markets or any investment for that matter. But it's always a good idea to know your downside. And I've written a couple of books on how to control that as much as possible. You can never control it 100%, but there are some really easy measures that you can implement if you understand what they are. And that's what our books on money management really are all about. We also have software, and I'll cover that in just a moment. But for right now, make sure you're basically some basics on money management. Make sure you're trading with money you can afford to risk, called risk capital. That's first step. The second step is anything we talk about today here regarding some of the stock suggestions and analysis that I do. Remember, these are my opinions based off my interpretation and analysis of the market using our software. So that's kind of important for you to realize that. So run it by your financial advisor. We don't know your personal situation here. They certainly should, and can give you the final okay on whether you should take a trade or not. And then also, too, again, you want to calculate the risk on each trade, not just your overall risk. So make sure you understand what your risk is going into each trade. So that's really important. I've got a couple of books up here that will help you on that. I'll put some links below in the write-up on the recording for you to order these, or you can just go to our website. We have many, many websites. They all funnel back either to appliedrealitytrading.com or traderscoach.com. And so just go there and you can order the books as well. We have books on money management. I've got a new book called The Art of Trading, 2nd edition, coming out this year. I think it's going to be the best book I've ever written. It's being published by Wiley. It should be about 450 pages by the time I'm done with it. And we're putting on the final touches now. So you can pre-order that as well. And I think they charge you when the book ships. We also have Elliott Wave Techniques Simplified. That was published by McGraw-Hill for me. And that book is done really well, gives you the basics on a form of technical analysis called the Elliott Wave. So anyway, you can check out those books if you go to our Amazon page as well. All right, so when we look at markets, we're going to be looking at markets using software I created. We've been doing this for a long time, over 30 years now. And so we got a pretty good handle on not only entries and exits and good quality software, but also risk control is a very big, important part. We have scanners that can scan the market as well. So we kind of cover the whole gamut of what you need to know. And that's why we call it the ultimate trading system. There's a lot of folks out there that sell trading systems, but they really don't address, I think, some of the key aspects of risk control and how you find these stocks. So this is kind of, something I put together that gives you a really broad-based look at just about every major slice of the trading pie. So definitely check that out. I'll put a link for that as well in the bottom. All right, so I'm going to ask you to just take a moment, give us a like right now. All right. Also, too, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that as well. And pass it on. All right. Get some other people here that you may know that want to look up some stocks and so forth. Okay. So, it's free. Why not? Right. And we're here every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. All right. So let me get out of here and let me go full screen here. And we'll start opening up some of the charts. All right, so before I get to your first entry here, Al, I see it up there. Let me just quickly go over what you're looking at here. So this is our software loaded into a charting platform called Ninja Trader. And this platform here, I think, is a really excellent platform, and you can import all different types of data. Right now, we happen to be looking at Bitcoin, which is the BTC USD symbol. And I've got 3 charts up. I've got the 60-minute chart over here, and this gives us a short-term look at Bitcoin. Each price bar is basically an hour. And then we have the daily chart here, which is more of an intermediate look and kind of the most common chart most position traders use. And then on the far right, we've got the weekly chart, which is a longer term aspect, and every price bar represents a full week. So the reason I do this, it's called multiple time frame analysis. The reason I do this is that it gives me a short-term, intermediate, and long-term look at any symbol I look up. And it's really good because it helps me time the market. And then I have our software loaded on each chart. So I have scanners up here running, and I'm not going to use those today because you're obviously going to give me the symbols. But in the charts below, we have pyramid trading point fractals, which point in the direction of the movement of the market and use key things like momentum, price structure, and price patterns. And then at the bottom here, I've got something called the OWL down here, which is the optimum wave locator. And that's measuring momentum and counting the Elliott wave for us. And then under that is the PTF, which is a precision trend filter. This is kind of a really cool and simple filter to use. Basically, when it's green, like it is now, there's a 75% chance that we're going to take out the high in that green area. Now, if it's bearish, then there's a large percentage, 75%, that we're going to take out the low. And then when it changes, then things change automatically. So under that's the trend line ribbon right here. This is the TLM, trend line master, actually. And this tells us the current trend. And then under that is the ERI, which measures fear and greed. So that's our software, and we have it loaded on each chart. So I just wanted to give that a quick run by. All right, quick analysis on Bitcoin. All right, so it pulled down here. We're definitely, this in terms of Elliott wave, this is a 3. All right, and it looks like this is going to be the target zone for a 4. Now, 15% of the time, you get a shallow 4. 70% of the time, you're in here. So it hit the shallow area, came a little bit close to the wave 4 target zone, but did not quite hit it. Now we've got a green PTF now over here on the left-hand side, had a big bounce off this bottom. So if we clear this particular top of the pyramid, that is going to be significant, and we may have a bottom in on Bitcoin on this current correction. However, okay, it still could roll over and go back down. So you need to be alert about that. So if it doesn't get high, at least here, and then take out this high, it could just roll back over and go back into the target zone and complete itself and then go up. Regardless of what happens, the weekly chart is so powerful over here that any pullback, whether it does it again into the 70% target zone or goes for a high here, the result after doing this correction is more high. So Bitcoin's not done going up. It's got another significant high. And if it bottoms, right around now, you're probably looking anywhere from, if this is a bottom, around 80, maybe 90 to 110, somewhere around in there on Bitcoin. If it goes down one more time, then we'll probably, if it goes down to the 38.2, which is where I have it drawn now, it's about 86,106. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And, again, these pullbacks can be buying opportunities in Bitcoin or any of the cryptos for that matter. They're pretty much tracing the same way. But the idea is that the trend is not over yet. It is still in a powerful, longer-term uptrend. So these pullbacks can be looked as dips to buy. Now, when we get to a more significant high, then we're going to probably exit this market short-term, because then you're going to be going into a more significant correction at that point. And then we'll get back in at some point. But anyway, that's my synopsis with Bitcoin. All right, so it seems like it's maybe recovering, but it could go down one more quick time. But if you're a long-term holder, don't worry, don't panic. It shouldn't be down for long. All right, Al, let's take a look at yours. Okay, AMD. Let's see what Advanced Micro Devices is doing today. All right, so let's see what you're looking at. Not in, but you're thinking about a long position. Okay. All right, so what Al's probably doing is he's looking at the fact that, okay, AMD reached a wave 3 top, and there are 5 waves in a trend. So wave 3 is then followed by a correction wave, and that's what we. Question is it over? And this would be, of course, a wave 4. All right, so let's take a look at some things. We could be close to a bottom. Maybe it bottomed. Okay, we got a little hook here. We still have red here, and we still have a lot of red here. So, Al, I think it's too early to say. I would bring it back, and let's take a look at it next week, because right now we haven't had enough of a recovery off a possible potential bottom to say it's really in yet, because we could take another dive down. So I would not do this one yet, okay? NET, let's see what we got cooking there. All right, NET is pulled back. This one here, no long. We had a gap down, obviously, here. So it's created a red PTF here. We've got some long-term green on the long-term charts. But right now, you don't want to go long until this push down is over. Okay, so again, this one is still, I think, in a big turn down that is not ended yet. So could end at any time, but probably not within the next week or so. All right, so let's take a look at FTNT. So you can bring that one back next week, and we'll see if we got any type of additional information that's going to help us decide whether that bottom is done yet. All right, so let's take a look at this bad boy. All right, FT, and let me just do a little of that. Clean up my charts a little bit. Okay, so FTNT, same thing, red PTFs across the board, no long yet on this, okay? So no go on any of those, Al, unfortunately. All right, let's keep coming down here. All right, Kamar, how are you? I think you're the next one here. All right, Tesla. Let's take a look at old Tesla here. All right, so Tesla has come down already quite a bit, and it looks like maybe we're starting to see some type of push to the upside. So we've got a little bit more promise here on Tesla recently over the last week. You can see it jumped off its bottom here. Now, a couple bottoms we want to take a look at. So you have a bottom here, all right, which is the big bottom. That's this bottom over here as well. Okay, so one bottom here, but you also have this bottom now. All right, so that bottom, all right, may be a pullback in this big trend up, and we could go from here. Again, I think unless you're trading the short-term time frame here, it's kind of one of these things where I think what I would do on this is I take the daily chart, and if this high is taken out here, then you have the definition of an uptrend, and you may even get a bullish pyramid forming in here, okay? So I would wait however long this pullback pulls back. Prices, if they recover and go above this high, then you have the definition of an uptrend. Notice here, you really do not yet have the definition of an uptrend because it's just been up. So you don't have the pullback yet, and that pullback is necessary because that's the higher low, right? So you got a low one here, a low 2 forming. It may go a little lower, and you got a high 1. So the definition of an uptrend is not met until you have higher highs and higher lows. So you need that higher 2, right? So we got to wait for that before we can really see with any confidence that we have an uptrend. So I would put Tesla on the watch list, and it could be ready at any point, fairly soon, but not yet. Okay. AMD we looked at, I think, right? LU. Let's take a look at that one and let that load for 1 second. Okay. So this one here, all right, is still going down. All right. So we got a red PTF here. So let's let this go down some more. I would not go long on this one if you're thinking about a long, and I don't think I'd go short. A little bit too late for that. All right, Stuart, how are you? GH. Let's see what's cooking with GH here. All right, so GH, nice move down. So Stuart's looking for a bottom here to go long. I love that. Okay, that's kind of like what I do. All right, so do we have a bottom in here? We certainly possibly could. Now this one, notice we had a pop off the bottom, a pullback. So we have the higher highs and higher lows, right? We have green, green, so the momentum short term is good. We're still a little early on the weekly chart. I'd like to see this green, but I think this kind of justifies the possibility of a trade to the long side if it clears this point here. Okay, you got to remove that bearish pyramid. Let's see what the price is on that. I have the price on one of my other monitors. Let me just see. So that's a high in 1986, and we have 1963. So I would say 1987, you go long. So I'm not going to recommend this one. I will put this on a watch list. I'm not going to recommend it until we take out the flat part of this bearish pyramid here. Okay, so we need a little more follow through. And we should get that. We have a green here, so that's good, and a green here. So I kind of like it. I just want to make sure it proves itself because what we could see is we could see a double bottom here and then go. So I don't want to put you in now if that occurs. Okay, so very close. Good catch, but not quite there yet. All right, let's keep going here. All right, so Ray, we've done Tesla already, but we have not done Pfizer. Let's take a look at PFE and see what's cooking on that bad boy. All right, so we got to bounce off the bottom on Pfizer as well. A little follow through being seen on the lower time frames. So do we have a situation? Okay, so here we are with this one as well. Now, let me just check here because I want to see if this low is lower than the previous low, and it is because it created a pyramid here. All right, so my thing on this is we still have a red owl here, right? All right, PTFs are looking good, long-term charts reversing, but we still got an active pyramid to the downside. We did take this pyramid out, but again, what I'd like to see, since this is a bottom, what I'd like to see is this thing to pull back again and then go higher. We had a little of that here. Okay, so we've had it on the short term, but on a more significant position trade, you're going to be using the daily charts, and you haven't had that yet. So again, Pfizer can go on a watch list. I'm not saying we're not at a bottom, but there's not enough technical price bars yet in order for us to really significantly say this is a go yet. So let's wait and see we get that pullback. I want higher highs and higher lows before I jump in off a bottom. All right, and then BCE rather. All right, let's take a look at that one. All right, this one's a little bit better in that we've got this pull up here. All right, my only problem, unfortunately, with this one is any pull up here is temporary. Now, why do I say that? Because this is red over here. All right, and that indicates one more low. So we haven't really had a hook down as well. So I'm thinking one more low on this. I think short term, all right, you've got a situation where this could retrace up to 35 to 38. We're at 33. Okay, so I think that may be all we get if this continues to move up. But with the bottom not in, I would consider this a counter trend trade up to the target zone on the daily chart. So probably no go for that, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, let's go, Eleanor. Let's see what you got cooking here today. LPG. All right, so you're in long. Okay, looks good. You've got a pyramid trading stop here. I think this has a good chance of making new highs. So if you're in this long term, Eleanor, put your stop down here because that's where the pyramid's forming here. Okay, that way if it pulls back down and goes back up, you won't get stopped out. But if it pulls back on this trend here, all right, there is a potential that the pyramids would stop you out on this leg up. That's the way they're kind of designed. So you got to decide if this is a I don't know if this is a short term entry or kind of one you want to hold for a little bit, but I would put your stop probably at the bottom, and I wouldn't be surprised if you take out this high. Now, you don't technically have bearish divergence on this yet because you won't have this considered bearish divergence until you break this high. So I think probably you'll eventually break there, and that's why you kind of don't want to have your stop. So stay with that one, all right? CELH. And I would not recommend it for anybody new because it's already jumped up. All right, so on this one here, let's see what we've got cooking. So we looked at this here and we said if we had a bottom there, the new top would be there, but now it's come back down again, right? So in a case like this here, all right, pyramids where you definitely wouldn't go long against these pyramids here, and I wouldn't do it yet. We may have a bottom in, we may be coming up, but again, I think at this particular point, if you took an early entry, you do have higher highs and higher lows. So you had 1, 2, 3. This did not create a pyramid because the momentum part of the calculation was not met for that. And you have a red PTF. If this turns green and this bottom can hold right now, or even this bottom, then you can put your stop under here. Okay. So I'm actually liking this. All right. You're in it long. At this particular point, I see higher highs coming because look at the weekly chart, very powerful. My only concern is making sure that this move down is over. I do see a nice ABC here for Elliott wave. All right. So you might have that in there, but you could also have a broad base B and one more low. So I'm going to let you play that. There's a nice pyramid for a long-term trade with a low of 49.45 for a stop. So that gives you plenty of room for this thing to have volatility before making its next high. So if you're comfortable with that, you just want to hold it, okay? Because the long-term charts are showing more highs. All right, AMAT. I'm not sure if you're in it for a short-term long, Eleanor, or a long-term long. All right, so now my guess is I think you're in it for a long-term long. All right, same thing with Applied Materials. Long-term, if you look at the chart on the far right, that's a weekly chart showing more highs, but you're going into a correction right now. So you're pulling down at this point. I think probably we could see some more pullback on this. So again, I think it depends on if you're in this for long term, and if so, you got to keep that stop far enough away that you don't get stopped out on a pullback here, profit-taking pullback. So, you know, I would hold it long term at this particular point. Keep your stop back there a ways, and you definitely want it to back further than a fib retracement off this leg up here. So you want to keep it at around 161, maybe a little lower. 160 to give it room, okay? Because it's probably coming down to 182 to 161.91. Okay, so there we are. All right. So stay with those if you're long term. If you're not, you've got a pyramid to get out here. All right, Frank, let's see what you got here. All right, like, I don't know if that's a stock. Type it in caps if you want me to look at that one. Let's go back to Al here. He's got a couple more here. All right, thinking about a short. Okay, good. You know, one of the advantages of traders is we can go short, you know. Okay, so let's see what we got cooking here. So we got a move down that started, looks like it started. Some things I like about this are the red PTFs. Now, like the other markets, you do not have lower lows and lower highs yet, okay? So this would be high 1, okay? This would be high 2, all right? Low 1 and low 2 would be the entry. So in this particular market here, it's reverse because it's a short trade. So we want lower lows and lower highs instead of higher highs and higher lows, like on a bullish trend, right? So again, same type of thing. I think you're pointed in the right direction. Love the red PTFs. Your target can be down here because that's where the PTF, the lowest low in the PTF price area here. So let me just grab and I'll tell you exactly what that low price target is. It's 72.83, one tick under. So that's where you're going. So you got some profit potential. So what I would do is let's wait for a little bit of a rebound, because what you don't want to do is go in here and then just have this make one more hook high and then get stopped out. If you have this configuration, then that's a downtrend. Okay, so that's much more higher probability. So wait for that. Let's put this on a watch list for a short. Okay, so bring this back next week and let's see if there's any change in the next 5 price bars. All right, ARW, let's take a look at that one for a short trade. All right, similar thing, but we did have a pullback, okay, on this one. So let's see what's going on with this. My problem with this, Al, is we may have a bottom here, over here. And this is just the mess before making a new high. So we've got a red PTF here, but that's only saying we're going to go below what? What's the low on that price bar here? So that is 125. So it's going down to 124.99. And we're at 121. That's not enough of a profit potential to make this worthwhile. All right. What I do like is you definitely have a situation of lower lows and lower highs. Okay. The problem is on this one here, you don't have enough of a PTF or target to make the trade worthwhile. Okay. So I would not do that one. All right. And that is ARW. Let's take a look at MYRG. You know, finding good stocks is like finding a needle in a haystack. You got to be really persistent and structured and patient. All right. Those are the 2 things, because you don't want to put money into a bad trade, right? All right. So this one here, we've got a pyramid here. Okay. That's good. We've also got a pyramid here. So the lowest pyramid in this is the long term, and that is 111.59. All right, so that's some significant potential there. And this is still in a very bullish wave 3 here on the actual weekly chart. All right, so I kind of like to see some bearish divergence up here, at least before going long, short on that. So I would make this a PTF trade. So then the next thing is, if this is your target here, all right, which is probably that one, what did I say? It was 1, let's see what it is exactly again. So that's 1, it's like 11 or so. Okay, so it's right around down here. So this is your target. Let me draw a horizontal line. And this is your entry. And then this is your stop. You do not have a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So the risk here, there's your risk, and here's your reward. All right, it's like 1.5. So I personally would not take the trade unless I have a 2-to-1 in my favor. Okay, but that's just me. So I'll leave that up to you, but I'm not going to recommend that. Okay, so that's kind of where we are with that. All right, Eleanor, back to you. CLS. Okay, long on these bad boys too. Okay, so let's take a look. It made one more hook to the upside since we looked at it. So there we are there. We've got a red PTF, so you're in now a wave 4. Okay, so let's see here. Now, all right, if you wanted to trade this move up since basically, what was a year ago, all right, you would have been stopped out here before it goes in, because this pyramid took you out with a really nice profit. And chances are we're going down to 35.64 to 25.88, right around that ballpark range. So that's kind of where we're headed on this next big move back. And if you want to hold it through that move back, well, you can do that, okay? Because after that, you should get more highs, because take a look at the both the OWL and the PTF on the chart on the far right, very bullish, okay? So we may get one more dip down and then go up. So I'm going to leave that to you. But again, if this is a long-term trade and you don't mind suffering the pullback, which is probably another 10 points or so, or 25% possibly more, then you just hold it, okay? Otherwise, if you want to trade it more, all right, then you might want to get out, because you would have gotten out here. And then at that particular point, try to get back in when it comes back down here. Okay. That's basically what trading's all about, right? Okay. So NVO, let's see what we got cooking there. All right. So this one, same type of thing. This particular retracement zone is held because we did not make a new high. So we're probably going into that target area. We got now a red PTF on the 60-minute chart. So we're heading back down again. Again, the target for this profit-taking pullback is 113 to 98. After that, you're going to have more highs. So you have to make a decision whether you want to hold this thing for more highs. And you basically got a pyramid trading point here you could use, or back it down to the second one just to make sure you clear that fib retracement profit-taking area. So long-term, more highs coming. Short-term, and this is kind of the way it is with all the stocks we're looking at, we're still in the throes of a pullback. Though I think we're getting close to almost ending it, though. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, so let's see. AV. People often ask me, what's the market going to do? And I do have a webinar tailored to that question. And so we call that, we do that on Wednesday. All right, that's called Market Review. And that is something you can actually go look at it because we record those. So you can see my take on the overall market. But in a nutshell, I think we got one more high in the market. And then I think after that, we're probably done for a while. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we had a couple things here. We had a target zone put up here. We still got green here. We got green here. I would continue to hold this, and let's look at it next week. All right, no reason for you to get out of this probably before we meet again. So come again and we'll take a look at that. I'm not going to recommend it, but since you're already long with 2 green PTFs on the daily and the weekly, you can continue to hold that. And we'll see what it looks like next week. All right, so my pleasure. Okay, let's see what we got cooking here. All right, considering entry for the 5th wave up. All right, Lowell, how are you? Spoken like a true Elliott wave trader. Gotta love it. All right, so let's see if this baby's ready to go yet. All right, so we got green on the short term. That's kind of interesting. Okay, we've got a situation where we have not hit any the significant target zone yet on the daily. So what I'd like to see happen here, Lowell, is I'd like to see, all right, this thing get into the target zone. We're in the 15% area, and you do have green here, but it's still heading down, all right? So this could stay green, even though it comes down, and then when it reverses, okay, then you know what the next target is going to be on that. So we got a red owl here, and so I would not go long yet. You can continue to watch it, but at this particular point, I think if you went long now, it's too early, okay? So let's let this thing unwind a little bit longer. I understand exactly what you're doing with it, though. All right, SIMO. As I say, I think I've got some of the smartest traders out there because you guys really start looking at really good opportunities, and sometimes they just need a little bit more development, a little more time. All right, so on this one here, we did have a bounce off the bottom. All right, I don't see any red PTFs. I do see a green over here, so that's a good sign. Let's see. Boy, this is kind of a wild one, huh? Look at that price bar. Whew. Okay, and look at the one you got. I mean, even that's significantly high on the 60-minute, though it doesn't look that bad on the daily. But that's a pretty wild movement on that. All right, so what do we do with this thing? Good question. The PTF high is not high enough on the weekly chart to really indicate that there's enough profit potential on it. It's not my favorite because I don't like the fact that it ran up already so much and the pullback was minor. So what we may be seeing here is the beginning, actually, if this high holds, this thing could still wrap around and turn and go south on us. And the fib, let's take a look at the fib retracement on this thing and see really you didn't get quite, you almost touched it. I mean, it touched it good enough. This is where it gets difficult because when it comes to that close, it could be close enough, right? So makes it a little more difficult. But again, I'm having to scratch my head more than 20 seconds on this. So I'm kind of like not my favorite. Okay. I personally would not go into this. I would try to find something clearer. Okay. On that one. All right. Let's take a look at your next one. BDRY. And see what we got there. BDRY. Okay. A little cleaner on this one. Okay. Like it. We got a green PTF over here and green PTFs over here. On this time frame here, all right, it looks like you've got your classic bottom. Might want to wait for it to clear there. Then you have higher highs and higher lows. All right, so here's the thing. All right, you've still got, let me just see if this is an active pyramid in place. In other words, prices haven't gotten over the top of this. So this is 1392 and this is 1375. All right, we got to get above that bearish pyramid to even consider a long trade. This is still red. I'd like to see this green, and I'd like to see a configuration of higher highs and higher lows on the daily chart. You got it here if we clear here, but you don't have it here yet. So I would take it here because you want to get basically above the all-time high here on this, right? Well, not the all-time high, but the high back here, okay, in March. All right, because that's your wave 3 top. So give it more time, okay? Let's put this on the watch list and look at it next week for sure, okay? I would not go into it into any of those quite yet. All right, thank you, Lowell. All right. Okay, Kamar got to go. We'll catch the recording. Okay. All right. See you later, Kamar. See you next week. All right. Eleanor back. A-N-E-T. A-N-E-T. Let's see what we got cooking there. Okay, so looks like you want to go long on these. So that's the question. I don't think I would do it yet because at this particular point, let's see what the target zone is. I'm not sure wave 4 is over yet, is why I'm saying that. So I'm going to be kind of, let's see, draw it from, going to be 2 all the way up here. We're kind of a little shallow on that target. If I actually want to move it up here, you're still shallow, okay? So, and you got a huge owl down here. Now, things are bullish over here, so you're pulling up here. So what you may have here is a 3A, B, that's still going up, and then C. So this is bullish, and the only green PTF is on this one, so this move up is not over yet. But I'm very suspect of whether that is enough of a correction to take out the high. Okay, so that's the dilemma there. If you wanted to go in with a small position thinking this is the bottom, you could do that, I guess, but I wouldn't. All right. Again, I kind of look for the needle in the haystack. I look for that really good setup. And while I'm picky, I'm not overly picky, but there are some requirements that have to be met. And one of them is I usually like to see a good target. And if I'm coming in off a bottom, I need to see the higher highs and higher lows. And I can't have any red PTFs on a long trade. And if it's off a retracement trade, like a wave 4, I need to have that in the high probability target zone. Everything else, it becomes a more riskier trade. So those are kind of my requirements. And I kind of, follow those. Okay. But anyway, so ANAT doesn't look like it quite hit the retracement zone. Let's see what's cooking on SQ and see how that one's doing. So SQ here. All right. So I can see why you're interested in this because of the fact that it looks like it may be bottoming on the weekly chart. Let me just do something here. Here's what I would do on this one because this is pretty volatile. You have a significant high, I think, there. You can even jump it. If you want to go up a little higher, you could do that. Go here. But I think here would be good enough. All right. If we can get above that red line on the weekly chart, then that would take us out of the immediate channel. So you're stuck in a channel on the weekly chart. And yes, you may have a bottom in, but you don't want to put your money into something that's just going to be idle. And look at the volatility on the daily chart. Not so good. And we have a red PTF here. So that's kind of saying that maybe this roly-poliness is not over and we're rolling down right now. So SQ I would not do, okay? But we can take a look at it. I put it on a watch list because if it breaks out of that channel, then it may be pretty good. All right, so let's keep an eye on that one, INCY. Okay, so this one's not ready. We got 2 red PTFs, so that's just indicating that any move up is temporary and the bottom's not in yet, okay? So let's wait on that one too. All right, eventually it will be good, but not right now. All right, Alexander. All right, spot, SPOT. All right, so spot is moving up, and I guess you're long already. All right, there's no reason to get out of it. Okay, just stay with it. If you're not long yet, don't get in it. It's too late. Okay, just for those that are in it, can enjoy the ride up a little further. For those that are not in it, the little further may not be enough profit for you. Okay, so just stay with this at this particular point for those that are in it. Now, if you want to get in it, wait for a pullback. Okay, buy the dip, provided that weekly chart is still bullish. All right, you just haven't had the dip yet, so I don't want to put you in if you're new. All right, SHAK. All right, so this one we looked at, it looks like it's reaching up to a target possibly here of 128 to 149. And then we should see some type of pullback on this at that point. So could you go in now? Again, here's my problem with this, okay? If you want the higher highs and higher lows, you got to wait. And then you got to see if you go in here, then there's your risk, and you got to make sure your risk is 2 to 1. So I think you got a little profit left. I'm just not sure how much. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough maybe by the time you get higher highs and higher lows. So again, I would not recommend this at this point, okay? And then Amazon, if you're in it, you can stay in it because you have a green PTF on the weekly chart. But for new people, I wouldn't go into that. All right, let's let Amazon load here. Of course, it would help if I type it in correctly, right? AMZN. Try that again. Okay, here's Amazon. All right, so Amazon moving up and a trend up here. So you had a pullback, and it looks to me like we might get one more hook to the upside. This, we got a red PTF though on the 60-minute chart. So unfortunately, it's indicating that what we may have here is that this high could hold, and we could get a move back down here, taking out that low here, because that's what the PTF is telling us on the 60-minute chart. So I would not take a long on this, okay, at this point. All right. All right. Thank you. Boy, getting tough to find some. All right. It means really that the market is kind of in a volatile area right now, but maybe not quite out of the woods yet. All right. Let's see what we got. Mark, how are you? All right. BA. Let's see about BA here. Now, if I miss anybody, just type them in again because there's a lot here. So it's very possible I may miss a couple. All right, so BA, let's take a look at BA. I don't know if you're going long or short, but you don't want to really go long here on a position trade because of the fact of the red PTF on the daily. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes, I'll take a long trade and base that trade on a lower time frame, like here, okay? But I need to have enough of a target to make it worthwhile. That's the thing. And so on this here, on that 60-minute chart, you can see this long leg down. That's basically, from 270, which is pretty significant. I mean, that's a big long leg down here. So even though the bottom may not be in, we may get a retracement that's tradable. and then it rolls back over. So then the question becomes, what's the target for the retracement? And for that, what I do is I draw from wave 2 to a wave down. So let's go ahead and go in here and see what that retracement could be here. So possibly something right around this level here, all the way here. So this target for this is 200 to 225. Not a bad situation. And you've kind of you took out this high here. So you had a move down here. You don't technically yet on this time frame have a higher high and a higher low. All right, you do have it here because you got a little pyramid there, and you've got green here. So, again, and you don't have green here. So yeah, I kind of would wait for that higher high and higher low before going in, just to make sure that we don't get another immediate move down, because you're technically going against the trend. All right, these pyramids have not been stopped out yet. So I don't think I would take a long here, okay? Not yet, anyway. All right, BKE. Let's take a look at that one. All right, so BKE, red PTF here, indicating we're going to take out the low of this bottom here before probably making significant highs. So we've got green here. So eventually we should spring up and go higher. But with this red, we're probably going to dip down again. So no long trade there, and not enough profit for a short trade. All right, thanks. Thanks, Mark. All right, Frank. How are you, Frank? All right, long. GDRX. GDRX. Is it time to short the QQQ? And my answer to that is no. Okay. Well, actually, let me see here. That's right. The GDRX is an inversey. So we do have green PTF. So that would make sense. So basically, a short on the QQQ would be a long on GDRX. So that is kind of interesting. And boy, we've got some pretty significant green PTFs. So that is very interesting. And let me just take a look at the weekly here. So you don't have any green PTF here. And we have a move up and we have a pyramid forming here. So I think, Frank, on this one, I would wait until this pyramid is taken out up here. Okay. So you see how you have a blue one pointing up and a blue one pointing down? That's basically marking the current channel. So if prices get above that, this one will go ahead and turn green, indicating higher highs and higher lows, and this one down here will disappear. So I would kind of hold that off right now, okay? You do have green PTF, so if you get that one confirmed, then we may be starting a further big leg up. But I don't want you to put you in and get stuck going sideways for a while. And then if the market comes back after this profit-taking phase, this will sink again, okay? So I would hold off on that. Good question, though. We'll keep an eye on it, all right, for sure. All right, let's see what else we got cooking out here. Let's go, Alexander, GS, Goldman Sachs. All right, so currently you're long, right? So on this one here, you want to stay long. If you're not long, don't go long now. It's too late, all right? Too much risk in a long trade. But if you're already long, just put your stop under this pyramid here. Let's see what that is. That is 416.20. Let's see what this one is. This one is much lower at 387.12. I would use this one on the position chart in the middle. And the reason I say that is we no longer have any green PTFs. Okay, so those are all gone. All right, everything's neutral. Yellow is neutral. We have bearish divergence building now. All right, so you want to keep that there to lock in profits if the trend changes. And we're getting pretty mature in the trend. All right, look at all the pyramids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 P pyramids in a row. So that's usually a very mature trend, close to trend exhaustion, and therefore you kind of want to stay away from that. Let me just look up this chart here, and we're hitting the target zone of what we looked at before on this. So long trade, stay with it. Keep your stop there. And at this particular point, hopefully you did well on that, but don't take the long trade if it's a new trade. PDD. All right, let's see what's cooking on that one. All right, so this one pulled back a little bit, and we got this wild price bar there. Not clear, okay? Not liking it, okay? I'm trying to figure out where it's going, and I'm not getting a lot of help with the PTFs, really. The only help I'm getting is that it's going to get higher than, you know, yesterday's price bar. That doesn't help me that much for a target. All right, so no go on that one. All right, Dell. All right, again, if you're long on Dell, you stay with it. Put your stop on this pyramid here. If we make another higher high out of this channel that the pyramids have isolated, then you'll move your stop up under the most recent green colored P pyramid. You have, if you make another high, you'll have tremendous bearish divergence there. You already have bearish divergence. So there it is there, because you got a higher high here than here, and that resulted in bearish divergence. Now, that's a short-term look. Long-term, look how huge the owl is on the weekly chart. Okay, so that means that we're probably close to the end of wave 3 on the major wave 3 on the daily. And probably first we got to go through a 4 on the daily, and then a 5, and then that should end wave 3 on the weekly. So I actually see more highs on this, but you're going to get a fairly good correction before you see more significant highs. So let's draw that in. And what I would do is, if you're long now, I would use this pyramid to get out. And if you're not, wait for this thing to pull back into that target zone to buy. So buy the dip, and the dip is $98 to $74, and we're at 126. If you're long and you don't worry, you got in really early, so a pullback to that target zone doesn't bother you, then don't do anything, because you'll have more highs eventually, because that's a pretty strong owl on the weekly chart. So I think you're going to see some profit taking possible in Dell. So I would not initiate a long trade yet, okay? And we can take a look at that to see if any of those pyramids turn next week. All right, thanks. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so let's see. Whoops, hold on here. All right, MA. All right, so MA, let's see, take a look at MA here. All right, so MA for a long trade, wait until the pullback's done, okay? Buy the dip, but the dip's not done, okay? So not quite yet. All right, let's see, Frank, Ben, you did not review my QQQ. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. I know we did the inverse, but let's take a look at the Qs here. All right, so you want to do a short trade on this. Okay, so this one hit the target zone beautifully. All right, we had a little bit of fluff here. And the next question is, all right, so we're at the target zone. Let me remove that. So we don't need that anymore. And the question is, are we going to get one more higher if it's time to short? I would say at this particular point, Frank, if we take out this low here, that's a short entry, okay? So there is your configuration of lower lows and lower highs. So short there, you got the red here, you got red here. This isn't really helping you too much, because that's the target down there for just that. But then let's draw in a more significant pullback here, because this could be a wave. This is pretty significant. That's up there pretty good. So you just want to guard yourself against one more hook to the upside. Now, let's see if we've had a hook yet. No, we really have not. So normally what happens is when you have a big wave up like this, you usually get a hook one more time. And the reason for that is that that's an impulsive wave. So the hook represents the minor waves inside the impulsive waves. So you don't have that. So that's a strike against the short trade here because we may get a rebound and this is your hook. Okay. So that's a problem. You may go, this is saying you're going to go down here a little lower, like around 415. Which is not that much lower. So you may get one more thing like that before it goes up. So we'll see. It's also close to going green again. So I'm thinking you got the right idea. I guess what I would wait to do is let's see if it gives you the lower lows and lower high configuration. Then if you wanted to try it, you could do that. Just have your stop set at whatever the high is after this is finished, okay? All right, so that's the QQQs. So in other words, we may be going up a little bit more before it comes back down. All right. Okay, so there we have it. Okay, now I reviewed it. All right, so let's take a look at MARA. And Alexander, this is for you. Long. No. Red PTF, its trend is down. No long yet. Okay. Now, I get why you're saying that, but right now it's pulling back. So we got to wait for a recovery on this before we get excited. And it doesn't mean the recovery has to make new highs. It just needs to not be going down. Okay. All right. DJT. All right. It pulled down, going up. We got a pyramid here. We do not have any green PTFs, so that helped it, they're all neutral. All right. We have not a lot of history on this, unfortunately. So I'm thinking here it's a real hard take to understand the Elliott wave on this. There's just not a lot here. Okay, so this retraced a lot more than a wave 4 should have on this big move up. So maybe a 1-2. All right. This one's low confidence. Okay, just not a lot of history on this one. So I guess I would probably hold off on this. I mean, you got a pyramid entry. I'm just not sure how high this thing is going to go. So the target is giving me a hard time. Remember, I have a couple of requirements. Remember, the target's one of them. So I'm trying to figure out where the target is, and the charts are not helping me on that. So I pass. All right, Uber. Let's take a look at this one. All right. Okay, at least this one's fairly clean, okay? So on Uber here, we've got a scenario where we're just touching the target pullback zone. So that's a good thing. And this is a great example. This is why you don't want to get in up here, okay? When these markets, all right, move like that and become extended, you don't want to get in at the mature part of the trend because chances are you'll get stopped out. All right, so that's why we kind of are so patient about wanting to wait for that. All right, long term, more highs are coming. Short term, we're trying to figure out if the correction is over. So we've got a situation here. A couple things I like to do. Okay, you had a 3, an A, B, this is Elliott wave, C. All right, C needs to be at least 1-to-1 and between, it's usually 1.618, which is a fib number, the distance of 1. So that has met the requirements. That's good. You need to have C wave at least as long, if not longer, than A wave. So you met that requirement. You touch the target zone. That's good. You still have red here, okay? You seem like you're getting a rebound here. So if you may have a bottom in, you may not. All right, so what's the litmus test now? We got to wait for higher highs and higher lows, right? Wait for that pyramid, hopefully, to form in there. So this one definitely should go on the watch list. And that's one of the best ones, but it's too early yet. Boy, we haven't found anything yet today, have we? All right, CVS. Maybe CVS will do it. Whoop. Yeah, I got all yours. Okay. Just want to make sure, Alexander, I finished all yours. Okay, CVS. CVS. Not doing too good, right? I hear they're closing some more stores. All right, so short, well, you got the right idea, Al. The problem is I think you might be a little late to the party on this one. Again, trying to figure out where the target would be on this. And we hit this retracement. So the trade to the short side would have been better when this turned red here, up in here. Now it's too far along. So yes, I think it's going lower, but at this particular point, it just becomes a risky trade to the short side because we may fill that gap first before it goes down. So any pullback, if you get a pullback on this to the upside and it fills that gap and you have enough profit potential, because the PTFs will stay red if that happens, then you're probably in good shape. If it goes down from here, then those PTFs may turn yellow. So no go on this at this time. I mean, the pyramids were better up in this area for a short trade, around 75-ish. No, back 70, more like 73, right around there. So a little late, I think, unfortunately. All right. And let's go. Ag, how you doing? All right, General Electric. Okay, so General Electric. All right, so definitely taking off here. That little thing's a little high there. I don't know how that got high there, but okay. So it's basically it's taken off, right? All right, so a long trade here in this mature part of the trend is not kind of what you want to do. All right, is it going to go higher? There's a green PTF on the weekly, so the answer is yes. Buy the dip. So if you get a dip, buy the dip, but don't do it now. If you're already long, just stay with it, okay? Because more highs are coming. All right. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Let's take a look at, I want to take a look at bonds real quick, TLT. So I use the ETF for that. So bonds has a red, the TLT contract on the weekly has a red PTF, which causes me great concern on going long on bonds right now. So basically, we've had a downtrend in place. We don't have, I don't think, enough of recovery on the daily chart yet to be optimistic at all about this. But we may be in a configuration here on the weekly chart where we may be a bottom here and we may move up here and then one more dive down. So that's possible. But I'm not looking at bonds for a buy right now. Okay, just to let you know. Okay. All right, so that was that. USO, of course, that's the crude oil ETF. We can look at that. And that's been coming down. All right, little relief at the pump. But I think it's temporary. I think we're still coming down. I think this is going to give an opportunity to buy the dip, so we can put USO on the watch list, but not yet because we have a red PTF on the 60-minute chart, so more lows are coming. One of the reasons I rely on this PTF a lot for helping me with bottoms and tops is it has about a 75% accuracy rate, which is very high in the markets. So when it's red, it's showing more lows. Now it turned yellow here. So when it goes yellow, it's neutral. All right. It's not really indicating anything, but we still have a move down that hasn't really changed yet. So we'll keep an eye on it. All right. But oil, I'm bullish. My target on oil later this summer is around 100 to 125. Okay. All right. Let's keep going here. All right. LBY. Let's see what old LBY has for us here. Give that a second to load out. You sure that's the right symbol? Double check that, okay? It's not coming up. Okay, let's see what else. All right, how about CLX? CLX, this is Clorox, and this again is for Al, so let's see about that. All right, so on Clorox here, he's thinking of a short here. All right, unfortunately, I would not short against a green PTF on the daily chart. So that's a no-go. All right. I do think it's going down a little further. According to the 60-minute chart, it should break below 147.56, and we're at 139, but that's not a lot of profit, okay, to make it worthwhile. All right, let's keep going. Alexander, long, you are in M. Let's see what cooks up for that. Okay, red PTF on the 60. So not yet. Okay. Hold off on that. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. All right. LYB. Gotcha. LYB. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, we tried LBY before. So this works. Okay. So on this one here, you're thinking of, let me just see what you said on the other one. Short. Okay. So short trade on this one. All right, yellow PTF on the 60, yellow on the daily, and a red on the weekly. Wow, okay. All right, so, okay, let's see what we got cooking here. Red, red. Let me just see what this low is here. 98.70, 98.49. Yeah, you could go short on this one, okay? All right, you definitely could go short. Now, I would do a half a position. So if you do your trade size and it says like 800 contracts, do 400. And the reason for that is that we're going against a green owl here and an uptrend that's in place on the daily. But that could change, okay? This is down, this is down, so a short is warranted. All right, so we found one to the short side today. Woo! All right, now the next thing is our target. Well, our target, what we're going to do is put our stop really pretty high here because our target's way down here. So we're going to use the weekly chart for our target. And so that means here we've got a low of 42.03. So about 42.02 is our target, right? So, you know, definitely look at the risk to reward, huge. So let's put a stop that gives us the most chances for success. In other words, as high as possible. All right, so now let's see what that is, okay? So again, our way down here. So if we went, let's just eyeball it. If we put our stop here and we go in here and we're going way down here, this is your risk, and check that out. Look at your reward. So risk, pardon my fine handwriting here, right? And the reward, okay? I'll just do that, all right? All right, so this is your risk, this is your reward. You got almost a 3-to-1 in your favor by putting the stop even higher than here. So stop here, no, put it up here. Lower your trade size and give yourself as much possibility of success as possible. Because this is kind of a, basically a pretty volatile correction here. So it needs to fall out of bed and maybe need a little more time. So stop way at the top there, okay? So that is one we're going to put on the short immediate list. All right, good. Phew, found one, right? All right, so let's see. Right, and as Gene says, woohoo, yeah, go half position right now. Yeah, now you can go a full position once things change a little bit more dramatically. All right, and Gene is calling you a rock star. Okay, I think everybody here is a rock star, actually. All right, now let's see. Anybody else? Anybody else? Going once, going twice. All right. If you haven't already, can give us a like, okay? While we're kind of waiting here. All right. Just going to give it another 30 seconds or so. And then we'll wrap it up, and I'll put on some of the intraday trading charts that you can take a look at. All right. As Gene says, thanks for joining us. Give us a like. Yep. All right, so I think that's it. All right, so let me just quickly run down a couple things here. So I'm going to go over the watch list first because we got a ton on the watch list. And the reason I mentioned these is because whoever brought these up, all right, these are potentially good trades. They're just a little bit not ready yet, so to speak. All right, but I want you to bring them back next week. So Tesla, TSLA, GH, all right, PFE. We've got CHK for a short one, BDAY, SQ, Uber, UBER, and USO. All right. So those are all possible setups that are coming, but we're going to put them on a watch list so we can keep a closer eye on them. And so I'd like you to do that at home as well. And then we'll bring those back next week. So remind me next week to look those up. All right. The good one for today was Al's one he just gave us, LYB. That's a short trade. If you don't feel comfortable shorting, okay, well, you don't have to take it, but definitely don't go long, right? But that is for those traders out there that like to short, that's a decent short. Put your stop pretty high. I think it was 42.01 or something. You want to get it up there for a stop. All right, so that's really important. All right, so I'm going to put some of the intraday time frames up. Let me just see if anybody else. Oh, gold. Let's take a look at gold real quick. All right, so let me. That's just coming in right now, and that is from. Let's see who we got here. All right, there we are. All right, so gold. Let's just look up GLD for gold. All right, so gold has been on a tear, as everybody knows. All right, it's actually done very well. It's pulling back a little bit because a little bit of more bullishness has come into the market. We've got green PTFs on both the daily and the weekly chart, so more highs are coming. We're not done with gold yet, but we may see a little softening of it here for a little bit. So if you're looking for an opportunity to buy, you may want to see if you get any more softening, and we'll put up a fib retracement for where this thing could possibly get down to 209 to 199. So we're getting fairly close at 212. So if you wanted to buy the dip, you may have an opportunity here to do that. Okay. I'm going to hold off on recommending it, and I'll tell you why. Usually what we have here is a situation where this needs to go red. We may get one more hook to the upside before that happens, but I want to wait for this to go red, and I want it to come back into a target zone so I know we have the completion of this pullback. All right, and it's not just a minor pullback with one more quick high, because then it's going to be really tough to get out of it. So I would wait on this. Okay, if you're in it, don't panic. All right, you'll have more highs. But if you're not in it, wait for a little bit more of a pullback for you to buy the dip. Okay. All right, good. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, good. Good to have everybody here. Excellent session today here. All right, so I'm going to put it on the, right now, I'm just going to put it on the actual closing here. And I usually, what I do is go to the intraday time frames because we run a day trading room, you know. So I usually look at some of these things, and let's put up, everybody loves to watch the MES. Look at this big move up this morning. Now this is a 1 minute time frame in the center, 15-second on the left, and a 5 minute on the far right. All right, so we've had a little bit of a move up. That's a messy market, okay? I would, at this particular point, back off a little bit, look for some other markets that may be clearer and better, or go play golf. All right. When I see a market that's messy like this, I know go have breakfast and come back. Literally, no joke. All right. Because at this particular point, we're not getting any clear entries at this point. All right. If we're back here and we had a little bit of a bottom, maybe, but right now, not so much. Let's see what crude oil is doing. Okay. So crude oil, to me, looks like we're getting close to a bottom here. So again, I'm looking for a breakout, above this channel. We may get a decent trade on crude. If we look at gold, all right, we've got a little bit more confirmation. Gold looks to me like a long trade, okay? So this is one I would kind of put the equities on the shelf right now, and this is the futures market. and I would probably take a trade on gold because I've got green PTFs. The only thing I would do is wait for this to pop, turn green here, but you got the pyramids here. So as soon as that turns green, it's looking good. So gold looks good. Let's just take a look once again here at natural gas. This is the Henry Hub. Beautiful trade early this morning. Okay, too late now. All right, so you'd still want to stay in it. Now, here's the way I would look at this. On a 1 minute time frame, a huge move up. You don't want to go long. You don't want to chase this, but if you got in early, you're looking for a exit at some point. Now, what I would do on this is eventually you're going to get profit taking on this, and it may be coming in right now. All right, so again, I grab my fibs, and if I miss this trade, if it retraces to the area between those two blue lines at some point, I'd go long, especially with a bullish 5 minute chart. A trade here is a little risky. Now, we may get one more hook to the upside, but that's probably all you're going to get. So the better trade for me would be to wait for the retracement, maybe even try to trade the retracement, but that's risky with this. This is so powerful, I wouldn't do it. I would just wait for the thing to come back down, buy it, and then go. So that may not happen for a couple hours, but I'd be keeping an eye on that if I was day trading. In the meantime, I would take a long trade on gold. Okay, so that's how I would do it. All right, so I'm going to leave it on there. I'll put a little music, and then we'll close the room in a few minutes. Thank you, everybody. Alexander, thank you. Have a great weekend. And yes, everyone, have a great weekend. Thanks for coming. And we'll be back again next Friday. And you guys have a great week. All right, see you next week.